Tszyu, he suffered his first professional loss today. This was definitely devastating, catastrophic, uh, really whatever you want to call it. I mean, to be honest with you, like Fundora, the size, I mean, it was tremendous. But it's a lot of underlying things that we got to break down, especially if you're a Tszyu fan. You know, you may have calls for a rematch here. To be honest with you, like I said, he was dominating. We're gonna break it down on exactly what happened, what did we just witness. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. It's Flight Sports TV. What an unbelievable night of boxing and the main event of really the ages. I mean, you're talking about a complete slugfest. You know, I mean, they listen, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, they gave the fans what the fans wanted to see. I mean, you talk about, like I said, the stuff that went on in that ring. You know, you're not even going to be able to show, you know, what was going on. You know, it's like it's not respectful to the guidelines, you know, of what just happened. You know, but you know, after a crazy situation, Tszyu was dominating him through the first two rounds, and that elbow, you know, it opened up something filthy, you know, on his forehead. We all know the rising superstar Australian Tszyu. You know, like I said, it was wild. They both pretty much was, you know, suffering from some catastrophic injuries that produced a lot of, like I said, you see, he had it coming out his nose. Tszyu had it coming from top of his head. I mean, it was just a complete mess out there. You know, Fundora, you know, he capitalized on all of this. You know, that at the end of the day, if you hear what Tszyu said, you know, this is the sport of boxing. This is what happens. You know, and to me personally, I believe Tszyu would have beat Fundora today if that cut didn't happen. I mean, the man admitted he was blinded for the rest of the fight. You know, so it was only so much he was going to be able to do with that. You know, Tszyu is a guy who a lot of people want to see in big fights, you know, major fights. I think that you got to be a hater, you know, to try to, you know, get up on him for this. You know, I think that he, like I said, I could see if it was going neck and neck, but it was dominant, you know, before that cut. You know, that cut was something serious, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I couldn't believe that it didn't even look that bad on the replay, you know, but to see it that open, like, whoa, what happened here? You know. But what an unbelievable way to kick off, you know, this partnership between Amazon Prime and PBC. It is what it is. Two judges scored it for Fundora on scores of 116 to 112 and 115 to 113, while the third had it 116, 112 for Tszyu. A lot of reports, you know, scored at Tszyu 115, 113. And like I said, it's going to be one of the memorable title fights in recent memory. Like I said, this was an explosive card that was put on by the PBC. You know, like I said, the main events definitely delivered. You know, obviously the Eastside Pitbull Cruz fight was crazy, and then the follow up with this one. You know, and like I said, the Tszyu you got to give him credit for even hanging in there. You know, it looked like the doctors wanted to stop it. You know, at some point it looked like, and it seemed like the cut man. I don't know if he got to get another cut man, or they didn't anticipate something like this happening, but they got to do a better job. You know, because that's Tszyu. You know, I mean, they got to figure something out. I want to give some quotes to Fundora, who made history today. We're going to get into that as well. He said, "We've been praying for this moment for a long time. I'm just thankful Tszyu gave me the opportunity." Like I said, it was history for Fundora. He joined his youngest sister, who's age 22. Her name is Gabrielle Fundora. She is the IBF Women's Flyweight Champion. As the rare siblings in boxing history each hold world titles. He also set up a huge fight on the horizon that we're gonna get into. Like I said, it was major fireworks after. And it's going to be major fireworks really for potentially both opponents. The now new champion in Fundora, and I believe that, Tszyu is still going to be big fights out there, but before we get into the major bouts that could be coming in the future, if I'm Tszyu in his camp, you got to enact this rematch clause, because you got to think if that cut didn't occur, this is a landslide victory. You're running away with this thing like a relay. You're passing it. Like I said, it should have never went down like this. But it is what it is at the end of the day. It's going to be big time fights in this division. It's crazy. This card was spectacular. If you've been living under a rock, like I said, Cruz, he defeated Rolando Rolly Romero in the 8th. And in the main event, we got a split decision victory for Fundora, who made history tonight. Tszyu, he had his eyes. I don't know. You got to start to think, did Tszyu get a little bit ahead of himself? Because Tszyu obviously had his eyes set on Charlo. He had his eyes set on a lot of different fighters. So now, he came to Vegas. If you've been noticing, that's the crazy thing. All his fights, took place at home, you understand, in Australia. I think if this fight took place in Australia, he probably gets the victory, But here, it just wasn't going to happen like that. And he lost. Like I said, he had some fights. He fought in Minneapolis back in 2022. But like I said, for the most part, all his fights are taking place in Australia. So he's got that is something that I'm pretty sure he's going to be, thinking about, and listen, you're going to have to deal with these judges up here, period. I give him credit for hanging in there. To me personally, Tszyu is a warrior. He didn't quit. He didn't want the fight to stop. I thought the refs was coming in at any given second. And they didn't. They let him stay in there, and he hung in there. He didn't look incompetent, but he definitely did look like some of his, bearings were off. And it led to a victory here for Fundora. But Tszyu ain't giving no excuses. He's giving all the props to him. And like I said, it's gonna be a spectacular situation, in my humble opinion. Salute to everybody that had an unbelievable night. Today was a big time card. I repeat, we are wrapped up here. It was main event boxing talk. You already know we do have a cliffhanger here that we're going to discuss involving Mr. Fundora, and who basically had a special guest at the end of this fight. And I think it's going to take a lot of shine away from what took place, because I think everybody about to be talking about that. And we about to do it too. So make sure you subscribe for more boxing news, updates, and more. Peace and